Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. It is a new week. It is Monday, September 15th, and I'm excited for the week ahead because we always get something, We might we might we might not get anything as big as last week's Nintendo Direct, but there's bound to be some news. In fact, there is some news to already go over, but I'll do that in a moment when more people show up because, like I said, this is kind of a bonus stream and sometimes it takes a minute for folks to show up. So, if you are already here, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. I'm getting set up. We've got some things to discuss. Some pretty exciting things, I think. How are you all doing, though, today? Let's start there. Hopefully well. As you could tell, or as you could, read, see, tell. The name of the stream is Bonus Stream. Channel approaching 6,000 subscribers and 256 members. Those are two different things. On the subscriber side, that is the bigger number, obviously. I think the channel right now is at like 5,491. So on the verge of 5,500. It just hit 5,000, I want to say on June 27th. So less than 3 months ago. Yeah, I guess you could call it 2.5 months ago, the channel hit 5,000. So in those 2.5 months, we've gained about 500 new subscribers. So at this pace, I guess you could say like December 1st, maybe we could expect 6,000. If that same total happens, like 2.5 more months from now, that's another 500-ish. But it might happen sooner, growth, changes. It's not necessarily something exactly linear. Hey, Crazy Scott, I think you are the first person in here. Welcome. I'll probably have to say this again. Hey, Joycey J, welcome. How you doing? Yeah, since there are only a few of you in here at the moment, maybe I'll save the speech stuff for later to let more folks come in. But I also don't mind repeating myself or something like that. But yeah, the channel is approaching 6,000 subscribers. When we hit 5,000, I did a $20 eShop gift card giveaway, and that was pretty fun. The channel hit 5,000 on June 27th. My birthday was July 7th, so on July 2nd, it was like a combination celebration of 5,000 subscribers and in advance of my birthday, and we gave out the gift card. Diabolic Native. Hey, Paul, good morning. Good morning, Diabolic Native. Welcome. We are the party. Crazy Scott. Yeah, that's right. It's a party of 4 or 5 so far. which is fine. You don't need a lot of people to have a party. It is always fun. These streams have been quite a blast for like the last several weeks. And I think they're about to get more fun because even though I hope that the people that come to the live streams and subscribe in general are here for the video game news, the sense of camaraderie, making new friends, talking about sales numbers, watching Nintendo Switch 2 videos, PlayStation, Xbox discussion, like whatever. I know that some come in for the eShop card, and that's okay, but maybe they stick around for the other fun, right? Party of 5. Wasn't that a TV show in the 90s? Yeah, I believe so. Michael Begley, hello there. Did you get the Donkey Kong DLC? Yes, I did. It's pretty sweet. That was an easy one for me. I was like, I love Bonanza. It's such a good game. That one I saw, DK Island from Donkey Kong Country, is like, dude, that's up my alley. That's old school. I loved the classic parts in Bonanza. So having the whole island modeled the way it was in Super Nintendo, super cool. Tsukino Ame, hi there. Good morning and welcome. Michael, you've been enjoying it? A lot of fun? Yeah, that's good to hear. Yeah, we could actually get to that part in the video. Hopefully later today we can go over Metroid because I wanted to devote a stream to Metroid and go over all Metroid Prime 4 Beyond footage and really deep dive. So perhaps later today in the stream we'll do that. We'll see. Or we could end up tongue tied. We could end up doing that this morning. We'll see. I don't have it set up right now, like all Metroid stuff, but we could do it. Love Metroid talk, yeah. Huddy, yo, Paul, how are we going to find the time to play all this software? Exactly. You know, back in the day, I would say in the late 90s, early 2000s, sometimes there was a conversation of not enough to play or a certain drought of video game news, right? Or not video game news, of video games to play. Especially kind of on the Nintendo 64. That was an era that didn't have a lot of software constantly getting pumped out. I mean, it was enough, but it wasn't as much as like Super Nintendo had or that PlayStation was getting. And now in the Nintendo Switch generation, it's like you could argue too much. I mean, who has enough time or money to play, not that you would want, but 6,000 games? Like, nobody truly needs every one of those titles. But even if you weaved out a lot, combed through a lot, and went to what actually interests you, you could find a few hundred who has the time. So we're fortunate in that case. Yeah, we're rewatching the Direct. You love Monster Hunter Stories 3. The Ritual Metroid Prime on GameCube was what got you into the series. Very cool. Yeah, it's interesting to see what game in a series got who into it. You might have been around when an original release was out, but it didn't catch you. So it took you to this point to like sink you in. Or maybe you are younger and came into the series like when it was that time and that's what was new at the time, and then you became a fan overall. So lots of different possibilities. Aurora plays 9727. Hi there. Joyce J. Yes, let's talk Metroid. I'm playing Super Metroid this week when I have time. Oh, cool. Joycey, is this like I know you've been on that Metroid itch for a while, just haven't dived into it till now. Is this the first one you're hopping into, or have you already begun your Metroid journey and you're like now caught up to Super Metroid? Because if this is your first one, that's a good place. It's a good place to start, I think. I mean, it's a great game. It's a wonderful game. It's as good as A Link to the Past. For what that game was for Zelda, this is what Super Metroid was for Metroid. Huddy, I thought the Prime coverage in the Direct looked cool. Starting to really get a sense of how diverse the world is. Day one pickup. Absolutely day one pickup. You know what? Even if we don't do it today, I think what I should do today, or right now during the stream, not to bore you all, but like while I talk, get prepared what I had in mind. Because what I have in mind for a stream is, we'll just see. Because this is a bonus stream right now, right? It's a little bit shorter intent than the normal streams. Because I just, got to go train and stuff like that. But I'll be free again longer so, perhaps in the afternoon. But what I want to do is go back to every Metroid Prime 4 thing that Nintendo has released over the last 8 years. So that means the stuff like the first trailer announcement of it at E3 2017. Watch that together. Watch the announcement of the delay / reboot together. Watch the direct from last June together, etc., etc. Watch some of my footage from the Nintendo Switch 2 experience in LA together. You know what I mean? And just really have like a hype Metroid day. Joycey J, yep, your first Metroid. I was told Super Metroid is better than the first one. I want to give it a fair shot. If I like it, I'll pick up Prime 1 and Dread. I want this series to win. I have some advice / some comment on that. Tsukino Ame, I had not played a Metroid game before. I'm not good at first-person games. Well, luckily for you, more than half of the Metroid franchise is not in first person. Yvonne Francois, hi everyone. Hello there. Okay, we've got some people here. So for those of you that weren't here at the very beginning, which was like just 3 of you, and now there's like 10, one of the things that I'm going to be doing soon is another like designated $20 eShop gift card giveaway. We did it 2.5 months ago when the channel hit 5,000 subscribers, and that was just for hitting 5,000. You know what I mean? That wasn't like if we hit Nintendo $64 total in super chats and gifted subs and donos and all that, then we give out 10. This was just like, we're just giving out 20 because just a small thanks back. You know what I mean? There is Z targeting in the 3D ones, kind of. No spoilers, but Dread has one of the best endings ever. Oh man, that's freaking sweet. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I loved it. But I'm distracted. Good morning, Egomaniac87. I'm going to get distracted a lot during this stream. I have a feeling because as each person comes in, I'm going to rewind slightly. So we're doing another gift card giveaway. Of course, in all of these streams, the normal total out of $64 is still in effect, right? Whenever we hit that, we do a $10 eShop gift card giveaway, boom. But right now I'm planning in advance for when we hit 6,000, we're doing a $20 gift card on that day during that stream. And I think it'll be fun. I don't know how long it'll take. It's been 2.5 months to go from 5,000 to right now I'm at like 5,491. So you could say 500 in 2.5 months. So if it's the same trajectory now as it was in the last 2.5 months, you're looking at around December 1st, December 4th, conveniently, that we might hit 6,000 subscribers. It could happen sooner. It could happen later. It could never happen. Maybe the channel just peaks right here, just under 5,500, and it doesn't grow. So maybe there is no 6,000 total to give out a $20 eShop card, right? I don't know. The other little goal, though, this is a member goal. Right now, if you look over here, over here, this way, we're at 217 members for the channel. Since I like my things in 8, thanks to Nintendo, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64-bit, 128-bit, GameCube. If we were continuing in that path, the next would be 256-bit. So, when we hit 256 total members, and it could be black belt, brown belt, green, blue, white belt tiers, whatever, there'll be a bonus $10 eShop gift card giveaway on that stream. So if it happens today, that's today. If it happens in a week, it'll happen on that day. So that's going to be something kind of fun. Something to look forward to. And yeah, 217 is a solid amount. I mean, especially if you think of like how many people that we have on the channel, right? 5,500. What's 217 out of that total? You're looking at like 4.8% or something. That's a lot of the people on a channel to be a member of the folks that are subscribed. Now, maybe we don't hit 256, but it's looking like it's a possibility. Boom, Minnie, good morning. Brian C, yo. Welcome in. Let me see if the new emoji went live today. Did it? Oh yeah. We got the grizzled link here. Grizzled link. That's right. I don't have like a proper green tunic, or a red tunic, but I had a red flannel shirt on. I was like, this is close enough to a red tunic. Let me take a photo as if I were an older Link. Not old, but older. Like instead of 17, 17 plus 25 years. So that's what we did. So what I could do now... Oh, Nin128 saying, shame on YouTube for not notifying me you were live. Yeah, seems to be a thing. Chuck Norris is... that means I have to make another one of Chuck Norris. Do I have cowboy boots? No, I don't. My wife does. But I probably can't fit into those. Cowboy boots, tight jeans, some type of denim shirt, a cowboy hat, and like an iconic karate pose kick. That'd be cool to do a Chuck Norris emoji. That'd be fun. 256 on what channel? Paid members or channel subscribers? Because you got way more than 256. Okay. Good question. So the 6,000 goal, that's for total subscribers on the channel, which I'm at 5,491. Relatively close to 6,000, especially since 491 of those were in the last 2.5 months. So that's pretty good growth for the last 2.5 months. So I'm expecting kind of by December 1st or 4th, another 500, and then it might be, or another 250, and then that might hit, no, 500, yeah. Another 500 in 2.5 months, and that might be 6,000. The 256, that's for particularly members. So if you're like a white belt tier, which is like that $1 a month one, or the blue belt tier, or green or brown or black, yeah. Canadian tuxedo, LOL, yeah. Yeah, so I've got some fun ideas planned and stuff like that. Oh yeah, hold on. I was going to talk about... So two things that Joycey said earlier that Z-targeting. Yes, there is the equivalent of Z-targeting in the Metroid Prime games. What began on GameCube, because Nintendo, they didn't want to make Metroid Prime a first-person shooter. And they don't call it a first-person shooter. They call it a first-person adventure game. The game's not meant to compete head-to-head. It wasn't meant to necessarily be Nintendo's equivalent of Halo back in the day. It was meant to bring Metroid into 3D, and Shigeru Miyamoto wanted it to be more immersive in first person. So he had the team that were building a third-person Metroid Prime game to redo things and make it into first person. And that was one of the things that he was very insistent on. So Retro Studios had to do a lot of work to tinker with things to get the game out of third and to make it work in first. Now, it ended up doing really well, but yeah, it has a lock-on mechanism. And Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, I don't know, Joycey, if you played that one at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, but you can lock on there as well. Boo Mini says, I'm going to buy Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 1 Edition and then buy the Switch 2 upgrade on the eShop. The Switch 1 case is so much nicer than the Switch 2 case. Okay, yeah. And you know what? Actually, by doing that, you get to play your physical cartridge on both your Nintendo Switch and your Nintendo Switch 2. So that increases the value, which is also a good thing to think of. You could buy the Nintendo Switch 2 version because they both cost the same when you upgrade, right? You could buy the Nintendo Switch 2 version, which takes up more gigs of RAM on the cartridge, and by doing so, you will eat up less of your storage space because all of the game is on said red cartridge, but you could only play that game on your Nintendo Switch 2. Or you could buy the Nintendo Switch cartridge and kind of have an experience that you could play it on any of your Nintendo Switches that you have around the house, or your new Nintendo Switch 2. That's the pro. The con, though, you'd have to download whatever extra gigabyte total the Nintendo Switch 2 version is, thus not having the NS2 version completely on one cartridge and taking up some of that valuable storage space. That's a good point. We should actually look and see what's the file size. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond file size for Nintendo Switch. Let's see. Okay, 28.9 gigs. I'm pretty sure that that's for the Nintendo Switch 2 version. Let's check it out. Nin128, love the turtle shirt, by the way. Thank you. Cowabunga. Turtles for life. Love it. Joyce J, nah. Nintendo just like giving stuff cute names. Open world? Nah. Open air. Or instead of a cell shading, they didn't call that cell shading for Wind Waker. They called it toon shading. Other companies at the time were calling it cell shading, like Robotech Battlecry. Cell shading. Nintendo called it toon shading. So it's kind of funny that you say that. Okay. Let's see. The Nintendo Switch version. Let's see if it gives us a file size. I might have skipped it. Possibly. Oh, this game is pretty. You like this loop? The music's not looping, but the footage is. Okay, game file size estimated at 31.6 gigs, but that surely is going to change between the two versions, right? Hey, and we've got 25 people in here now. Welcome on in. Let's see. I'm going to click the Nintendo Switch version, and we're going to scroll all the way down. And let's see, is it still 31.6? Or did it change? Or did I just skip it? Wow. Oh, it says right there. So 28.9 is the file size on Nintendo Switch. And 31.6 is the file size on Nintendo Switch 2. Now, right here, yeah, it says 28.9, but that's 28.9 if you play the Nintendo Switch version on NS2, 28.9 if you play the NS version on NS. So I'm going to write it in the chat. 28.9 for NS. And then we'll verify one last time. One more time. Yeah, 31.6. Huh. So actually, unless if the Nintendo Switch 2 version, which is also possible because there have been companies that released a Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge but was able to be played on Nintendo Switch, that Nintendo Switch version, and on Nintendo Switch 2 it would automatically unlock the Nintendo Switch 2 version, you know? Tall show, I came into the Metroidness. Yes, you did. Nin128. I know I plan on buying the Switch 1 versions of every dual Switch release, Switch 1, Switch 2, unless Switch 2 version has a physical on-cart release. So what do you plan on doing with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Nin128? Do you plan on buying the game on Nintendo Switch 2 because there is a physical release of it? Or no, you are going to go with the Nintendo Switch version regardless. Darren Nye, hi Paul. A little over 28 for the Switch 1, yeah. So there you have it, like 28.9 versus 31.6. So if you do buy the Nintendo Switch version, you have some extra value because you know that cartridge can be played on one of your Nintendo Switches in the house. So if you have a Switch lying around and you're just curious for the fun of it, how does it look like here? And you want to swap. Maybe it's in portable mode. Maybe it's in TV mode if you have both docks currently hooked up to your TV or a couple different TVs. You know, you want to switch HDMIs and be like, I'm experiencing it here. Okay, now I'm gonna go here and on Switch 2 play it in performance. Okay, that was the difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2 performance. Okay, let me go back to Switch 1. Now let me go to Switch 2 quality. Whoa, so that's the difference in fidelity and performance that we're getting. Awesome. That Switch 1 cartridge is valuable. And you're only downloading 1.7 gigabytes to unlock what the Nintendo Switch 2 version has. That's not that bad. Like I said, unless if the Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge can be played on Nintendo Switch, giving the Nintendo Switch the Nintendo Switch version of Metroid Prime 4. Because that's not impossible, you know? Boo Mini says, Switch 1 cases are pretty. It saddens me when I look at Switch 2 cases. Not to be negative, I still love Nintendo, but I just don't get it. Metroid Prime 4 will be full-on cart on Switch 2. Yes, it will be, Ryan C. Yeah. I guess if the Nintendo Switch 2 version by default will work on Nintendo Switch and will just provide the Nintendo Switch version of the game, I'll just buy the Switch 2 game case because I'll have another red cartridge added to my library and I won't eat up any space on the system, right? If, however, that's not the case, then I guess I would consider buying the Switch version because then I effectively have a game that could run on multiple systems in my house, thus increasing the value of it as I have a Switch OLED model, and a Switch 2. Now, realistically, I'm not going to be playing the game on my Nintendo Switch. I'm going to be playing it on my Nintendo Switch 2. But could I play a little bit there, or just for the fun of it, or for the knowledge, have more value? Yeah. And only download 2 gigs worth? Yeah. I guess I wouldn't mind that. We'll see. Then 128 says, I know it'll be on cart for Switch 2, but for me, Prime 4 will always be a Switch 1 intended release that just took 8 years and ended up on Switch 2. Yeah. See, it's a little bit of a different case because I could have bought Breath of the Wild on Wii U. I was a proud Wii U owner. I had a great time playing that system for 4.5 years. Many good memories. I don't crap on it like a lot of people did. It wasn't Nintendo's best effort. It took them a while to get going. They had too big of a gap between launch and like 8 months later, Pikmin 3. But it was not a bad system. It was good. It had a lot of fun games at the end of the day. But I bought Breath of the Wild, like, easy decision on Nintendo Switch at launch. Carlton-san. Hey, Paul. Hey there, Carlton-san. Welcome. Tall Show. You can also use your Switch 2 cart in Switch 1. It just won't have the extra Switch 2 grants. If Nintendo indeed confirms that, then I think I'm just going to buy the Switch 2 version. Because then I'll never have the possible fear of, in the future can't download the remaining portion of the Switch 2 version of it to play it or use up any more gigs of RAM storage in my hard drive, right? Or on my SD card. Roger Enyart. Hey, people of the internet. Happy Monday to all. Happy Monday, Roger Enyart. Welcome to the stream. Easy way to gaming. Hi. See to that. Hey. King Paco, Nintendo lover. What do you like about the Nintendo Switch 2? Please explain. Oh, if I explain, we'll be here for like 7 hours. Which we've had an 8-hour stream before. It is possible. But this morning, I've got things eventually to do. Let's see, how long can I stay till? Today, I can stay close to an hour. Close to an hour for the bonus stream. I mean, the stream could end in 32 minutes, but it could go to just about that. 11 a.m. Pacific time, almost an hour from now. Okay. I still have to get back to Joy CJ earlier on Metroid, because I do have a little bit of a recommendation that's not quite Super Metroid. It is still, but I have something to say. But since that's Metroid talk, I'll address King Paco, Nintendo lover, in just a moment. I think I'll do that next. First, though, since we've got 31 folks in here, let me rewind a little bit to a couple of things happening on the channel, real quick. One, just not to bore the people that have already heard this once or twice. One, 2.5 months ago, the channel hit 5,000 members. And when we did that, we had a live stream where we gave out a $20 eShop gift card just for hitting that 5,000 total. 2.5 months later, we're at 5,500. So I'm expecting in another 2.5 months, around December 4th, when Metroid Prime 4 Beyond comes out, we might hit 6,000. We might hit 6,000 sooner. When we do hit 6,000, I'll be doing another $20 eShop gift card giveaway by default. Number 2, member goal. We're at 217 out of 256. So we are 39 away. Whatever stream it is that we hit that 256, that stream by default, I'll be giving out a bonus $10 eShop gift card. So if somehow today we hit 256, we'll be giving out $10 gift card today. If a stream happens where we hit 256 for the total, and the goal status hits 64, that's already 2 eShop. That is also 2 eShops on that stream. So the amount of prizes, I guess, the amount of cool things. Well, the amount of eShop gift cards is definitely going up because we've got some goals in the future, right? The normal $64 goal, now a member goal, and also a 6,000 total subscriber goal. So cool things happening. Okay, now I'll address that comment. What do you like about the Nintendo Switch 2? Please explain. I like that it is a beefier version of my favorite video game console of all time. Nintendo Switch became that. It bridged together top quality software and top quality hardware. It brought together home console gaming, portable console gaming, by default, two controllers, a tabletop mode. Think about how valuable tabletop mode is. It's a TV, a power cable to the TV, a system's HDMI cord to the TV, a system's cord to the wall, and two controllers. That's what Nintendo Switch was. And Nintendo Switch 2 is just that, with so much more power. I've been loving Donkey Kong Bonanza. I enjoy that the version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 that I've been playing on Nintendo Switch 2 isn't just better than the competition because, yeah, it's got TV and portable play. Oh, but the graphics aren't quite as good, so that's the sacrifice I'm making. No, the graphics are like quite comparable, so I don't feel like I'm losing out on anything. And that's how I feel about the majority of Nintendo Switch 2 games. I'm not losing out on anything. Split Fiction, I don't even know how much better possibly does the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X versions look, because Split Fiction on Nintendo Switch 2 looks and runs so good that I'm so happy with it that that's all I need. So it was an easy no-brainer for me to get it on Nintendo Switch 2 because I'm playing that thing on TV, having a wonderful time, excellent game, affordable. It was only like $50. It's a well worth like 60, 70 in my opinion. Only $50. And I took advantage of playing in tabletop mode several times with my wife in bed. Like, easy win. I love that we have games on the horizon like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Looks stunning. I like the improvements that Mario Kart World has visually and in terms of just the depth of everything than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That we got Street Fighter 6, day one, and I'm a big Street Fighter fan. That we know Mario's coming, Zelda's coming. I love the screen size, the HD Rumble 2, everything, I love it. Lily Young, hi peeps, if I didn't say that earlier. Nintendo needs to address the Switch 2 memory issue. 256 is nothing with the new age games. Most third parties are opting for key cards. This will severely restrict me from buying a lot of games due to space. Yeah. I would really like developers to use as much of the cartridge as they can. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's only digital and game key card, in my opinion. And first of all, it's only $40, so it's a pretty darn good deal. It's an amazing game. They could have had a $50 version in which it released on a cartridge. Now, there still might have had to be a mandatory download of like 26 gigs, but that would have eaten up only 26 gigs of your console and not 90. If a game is like 70 gigs, yeah, release 64 on the cart and have the other 6 be a mandatory download on the console. At least it's only 6, not 70. And then let the person decide, do I want to spend $10 more and still have to download more? Now, I think it's a little bit easier pill to swallow if you got all 64 gigs of the game. That's how much you had. All 64 gigs, boom, landed right on that cartridge, and the cartridge cost $10 more. That's a little bit easier, like I said, I think. Because Nin 128, I know what you mean. Like, the game of having to delete and re-download, play Refrigerator, isn't the most fun. Aaron Raths, good morning, Paul Gale Network. Congratulations when you reach your goals. Thank you, Aaron Raths. I appreciate it. I think we'll hit 6,000. Not to be presumptuous, like, oh, more people are going to subscribe, but just seeing that the shorts have been hitting different people differently. Like, the Sega Dreamcast short did extremely well. Some shorts don't. But the shorts are so varied that it's not just one system's library of games. It's a whole bunch, that it's kind of attracting different people and different likes. There really needs to be a way to hook up an external hard drive. It is the only way. I'm not deleting games to download games and then delete back and forth when I want to play. I know what you mean. Yeah. An external hard drive would be pretty cool, and that would satisfy the while it's plugged into the TV, and then you could decide like, okay, it's understood that these are the games that are only on the system / the micro SD express card to take on the go, and you're okay with that, right? Oh, Bonanza, I keep forgetting there's a demo for me to play right now. Heck yeah, now's an awesome opportunity. If you there you go, beautiful like point. If you've been hearing nothing but people raving about Donkey Kong Bonanza for the last 2 months, and you haven't purchased it for whatever reason, free demo. Check it out. It's awesome. It will convince you. If you like Mario 3D platforming, you'll like Bonanza. If you don't like those kind of games or hate third-person perspective titles, then maybe the demo won't convince you. But I mean, if you enjoy Mario, Zelda, Kirby, I can't see why wouldn't you enjoy Bonanza, Download the demo, see to that. Do you know how long the DK Bonanza DLC is? Darren Nye asks. No, I don't know. Game Center X, I love turf surfing in Bonanza. Yeah. Pokemon Fan 34, hi there. Tall show, nice emojis. I offload my games. LOL, it's easy to do, saves plenty of space. And I see some talking back and forth. FF7, released on 2 discs, one of them an installation disc. Yeah, might as well have most of the game on cartridge while downloading the rest. That or Nintendo gives a 96 gigabyte cartridge option. Jeez. Could you imagine them having a 128 gigabyte option? Okay, if they had a 128 gigabyte option for cartridges, but it was, all right, they're going to be $20 more. But the whole freaking Call of Duty 7, the whole freaking whatever game that has 111 gigs in it is on the cartridge, and I had to pay 60 or 80, 70 or 90, 80 or 100. But I knew that the whole shebang was on that 128 gigabyte beefy cartridge. I'd do it. That's weird. Sorry. You ever get like that phantom pain? Or a phantom vibration? I totally thought my phone was vibrating. I was like, it's not. Like, what the heck did I hear? What the heck did I hear that was that equivalent vibration sound to my phone, but it wasn't my phone? I don't know. Anyhow, yeah, I think it's reasonable to charge $10 more for cartridges if it's 64 and the whole title is on it. 20 for a 128 gigabyte cartridge, charging 20 more. And people either buy it or they won't. They'll be like, heck with this, dude. I'm not paying what you should be. You should be, right? Presumptuous. Yeah, let that be up to the consumer. But I think I would do that. About Nintendo, they need to allow us to use portable hard drives. Interesting. J Biggs, Mr. NY for life. Hello, Pokemon Fan 34. Are we getting a 10-hour stream? Not today. Today I can't, but that would be kind of wild. Maybe the back on the dock could have an attachment for an external storage drive. Darren Nye, yeah, possibly. Robbie Reigns 1, hi and bye. Tallest show, maybe a SATA SSD external. More like Tears of the Kingdom, Edwin says. Kong Donk, hi Paul. Why is Nintendo charging $70 or $80 for Galaxy 1 and 2 ports from the Wii? Because In 2007, Super Mario Galaxy was a $50 game, and in 2010, Super Mario Galaxy 2 was a $50 game. So that's $100 of gaming right there that they are giving it to you for only $70. So with inflation, that $100 is actually worth even more from what minimum wage was, 15 years ago, 18 years ago to now. The cost that you're paying for 100 now is less than the cost for 100 back then. Not only that though, it's only 70 compared to 100. So it's actually cheaper factually in terms of the dollar amount you're spending, and cheaper when you're thinking of inflation and things like minimum wage differences between 15, 18 years ago and now. And they're adding in dual analog controls, so they have to go back into the title because the original Wii game did not have that. And they're adding some elements like the extra pages to the book, increasing the resolution, putting it in 4K, etc. And yeah, I think $70 is fair for two high quality titles. J Biggs, Mr. NY for Life, saying, since my Switch 2 is a homebody and will never leave the dock, an SSD would be perfect for me. If they ever came out with a Switch 2 OLED light, then I would put my 1TB external card in it. Yeah, that'd be nice. I Byzantium. Hi PGN. Hi there. Tall Show. 128GB option will be for the Call of Duty. Gosh, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Gonna take up like a quarter of your hard drive eventually if you have a 1TB card, and some games like 212 gigs. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. J Biggs, people would still complain about the price. Paul, they are going to go bonkers over Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Come on, for crying out loud. Okay, it would be a little silly, I think, if Nintendo released 1985 Super Mario Brothers on one Nintendo Switch cartridge here in 2025 and charge $60. I think that would be a little bit silly. I think that's quite far back, quite simple in a game that even if they said, okay, but we're putting it in 4K, no extra length of the title, just ability to pause, rewind, and a couple of CRT filters, and here it's $60. Unless it released and they had like a special NES collector's edition box, a game sleeve, this. If it was just Super Mario Brothers, basically getting a couple of filters and support to be played, in 4K, but no extra visual effects and not like a remake, and it costs $60, that would be a little bit much. But you're looking at that era from Wii, and you're given two high quality Wii games, bumping them both up to 4K, putting in some extra storybook elements, adjusting the game's camera rotating to dual analog, and doing 70 for two. I think that's fine. Yeah. $80 for a game is too much. You want to know why? I spent $500 just buying games. I mean, I'm fortunate that in the year 2000, I was making $5.75 an hour, and I had to work like 11 and a half hours to buy a $60 copy of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. And here we are 25 years later, and no minimum wage person working in North America today would have to work 11 and a half hours to pay for a $70 copy of Donkey Kong Bonanza, the equivalent. The higher premium $80 games, I'm still not sure if anybody would actually have to work 11 and a half hours. So gaming is effectively cheaper today. The price amount might be higher because 70 is more expensive than 60, but with inflation, with what minimum wage is, it's still less in most cases. Let's see what else we got. I still want to get back to Joyce's Metroid Prime talk to uh, give some advice there. I would like your advice. I've been purchasing games brand new because of the rumors. Is it safe to buy used games? You could buy used games. Yeah. The thing is, if you buy a used game from like GameStop and if it doesn't work, you could just return it. GameStop has like an easier used game return policy than new. Yes, Byzantium. I was going to go over that today. Did you see the Nintendo Today app update trying to steal your thunder about video game anniversary dates? Let's look at that real quick. For those of you that don't know, I put this up on X today. The Nintendo Today app has a new daily post called Nintendo 365. It highlights video game anniversaries on various Nintendo platforms. I have always enjoyed celebrating gaming history and sharing important dates, something that I've done for years. It's what finally led to my daily shorts. This is fun because, a month ago I started doing regular little videos, but I've been doing this stuff for years, like just periodically. Yeah, Nintendo 365. Games released on this day. 2017. Metroid Samus Returns for the Nintendo 3DS. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what Paul Gale Network did. It was shorts. What did Paul Gale Network do today? Today in gaming history, September 15th, 2017, Metroid Samus Returns launched worldwide for the Nintendo 3DS. I'm happy to have inspired Nintendo. Is it possible that Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is targeted to folks who've yet to play the game? I haven't played either, and the price doesn't seem bad at all. Yeah, Egomaniac87. You've got Mario Galaxy, an excellent game that won Game of the Year by plenty of outlets in 2007. You've got Galaxy 2, a Game of the Year contender in 2010 that won plenty of Game of the Year awards. $70 for the two? I mean, I don't think anybody's complaining really about Donkey Kong Bonanza being 70, right? You're getting two comparably good games in Galaxy 1 and 2 to Bonanza, though understandably older, not pushing tech as far in terms of visuals and frame rate and sophistication in enemies, CPU and all that kind of stuff like that. But for being older, that's why they're not costing 70, they're costing 70 combined. Are you getting more bang for your buck? I think so, getting two instead of one. Even though if they're not modern, we're not talking like Nintendo just released Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2 from NES era for $70 without doing much, on one cartridge. And we're not going that far back. We're going into the Wii era. I think it's okay. J-Biggs, you meant Express Card. Oh, okay, I saw that. Galaxy 2 talk. J-Biggs, I have 3D All-Stars. I would rather play the Switch 2 version of Galaxy 1. It would be nice if Nintendo did upgrade at no extra cost Super Mario 3D All-Stars. N64's Super Mario 64, GameCube's Super Mario Sunshine, and Wii's Super Mario Galaxy. If they upgraded those to, run better, perform better on Nintendo Switch 2. Game Center X is the movie and everything leading towards Galaxy 3. That's kind of what I started thinking, Game Center X. Could Nintendo be going so heavy in Galaxy 1 and 2 that it's like Galaxy 1 and 2 October, lasting through the holidays, going into early next year with Galaxy the Movie, April, lasting until May, June, then digital streaming, DVD July, August, September, and then bam, November, holiday game, Super Mario Galaxy 3. This basically 13-month long journey of Galaxy as a brand. I could see it. It'd be super cool. I don't get it. People are mad at Nintendo for liking to make money. Isn't that the point of business, to make as much money as possible? I mean, yeah. Do you complain like, oh man, can't believe that Dodge is charging $50,000 for their charger? How come they're not only charging like $10,000? Oh man, why is this Mercedes-Benz $65,000? Can't they get away with charging for like $19,000? The Dodge Charger Hellcat is actually faster than that Lamborghini. How come one's $60,000 and one's $200,000? Can't Lamborghini be $50,000? You know what I mean? Like, they're companies. They make products. Shaquille O'Neal has a brand of shoes that's available at Walmart that's affordable. Do you mean to tell me that Nike, Reebok, Adidas can't get their shoes down to like $25 also, and that they have to cost $150? Come on. Everything costs something. If you're an entertainment company, if you're a clothing brand, do you really think that this purse is made out of $500 materials and it's $400 more valuable than this purse for $100? Do you really think so? Is that stitching that much better? Is that quality of texture that much better? Hey, to some it is. More than others, but so be it, you know. Variety. What folks are willing to spend. Will you be spending Resident Evil Requiem for $80 pre-order? Will I be spending? I'm going to pre-order Resident Evil Requiem eventually. Corey Bone, I missed your direct reactions on Friday. Top 3 announcements for you? Oh, I do have the whole direct on my channel, which I live streamed with Nintendo Prime and Thunderstash Gaming. But I would have to say that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailer, awesome. Virtual Boy coming to Nintendo Switch 2, super dope, unexpected, crazy cool. The confirmation that Resident Evil 9 is indeed coming to Nintendo Switch 2, also great. That and like in general, that Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC was great. Oh, the Super Mario Galaxy movie footage kicking things off. Oh, fantastic with the movie confirmation title. Probably Metroid, Virtual Boy, and Mario Galaxy. Although finishing out with Fire Emblem was super dope too. There's a lot. Darren Nye, in 1991, I was paying between 25 to 45 pounds for Mega Drive games in England. With the inflation, that works out that we were paying so much more back then. Absolutely. I see Resident Evil Requiem in the European pre-order shop. Cool. Nintendo's All-Stars. Hello there. Exucky Jucky, do you getting another game for Switch 2? Might reveal at Tokyo Game Showcase. Do I think we're getting another reveal? We very well could, possibly. You need action figure display. Yeah, maybe I'll do a studio tour, a game room tour. Where's the Prime Force shirt? I need one, Exucky Jucky. I do. They added an assist mode. You're happy. Some people are about the DLC. I beat Mario Odyssey. That's the next one I'm on. On assist mode. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Not really into DLC. I like DLC. If a game is complete and I got a complete package and the DLC is reasonably priced for that much more content, sweet, more fun. 2 full quality games that have been spruced up is worth it to me. Yeah, Joyce J, I agree. I'm glad they have an assist mode for people like me who need it. Yeah. Super Mario Galaxy have mouse mode with Joy-Con. Next is Shrek new movie coming. And you got DK Spaceport in Mario Kart World. Haha. Could we meet the Star Fox team in Super Mario Galaxy 3? That would be awesome, Tall Show, if they do my idea, which is Super Mario Universe, or call it Super Mario Galaxy 3 to capitalize on the word Galaxy, following Super Mario. Dodge should be paying people $10,000 to take it off the lot, as they're going to make more. That they're going to make more than that is no repairs to shade. Corey Boehm. That's a funny one. That's funny. Game fan. No, GTA 6 costs $80 and collector edition will be more expensive. Grand Theft Auto 6 could cost $100 and is still going to sell 50 million copies, you know? Wink the Man 07. Are you going to get the cardboard or the Virtual Boy replica? I am absolutely getting the Virtual Boy replica. I might get both. Because I like owning things. I like owning cool things as props, as pieces of visual entertainment that spruce up the house, the living room, the game room, etc., you know? Next week's is Xbox Tokyo Game Show live streaming. Virtual Fighter 5, yeah. Pokemon Fan 34, hey Paul, hey again. Capcom attend New York Comic Con and Macy Game Showcase. Are you planning on watching 6 Indie Showcase? I'll be watching different things. If I can't watch everything, I'll watch most of what's coming out. Do you have more info on In Topics podcast shakeup? Saw that post about looking for 2 more people. I don't know who might be joining or when that might take place. Who or when? No, I don't know. 50 million is on the low side. Oh yeah, it's on the low side. It's gonna sell 100 million. Welsh lad, the motorbike section in MP4 looked awful. Then Prime reminded me it is a Switch 1 game. You know, that big open world sand area did not have the visual fidelity of the section shown like a couple seconds later, like with the thunder and the lightning and the twisted looking spires and stuff. But that's also because it is an open world, empty sandy area. We don't know if in the open world sandy area you eventually get to chasms where there are large pyramid pillars and different objects that look Chozo-esque, made out of sand and dirt and have high geometric volumes behind it, and a giant enemy here and a horde of enemies there. How it was presented in the trailer, that area did look more plain, looked fun, did look less visually impressive, though still nice, but not as nice, not as impressive as the other sections. But as long as the game is fun, and as long as it looks like it's to be varied, I think we're in for a treat. I'm surprised the replica doesn't include the controller. The replica. Wink the Man, you gotta refresh me. I'm surprised the replica doesn't include the controller. Which replica? Because sometimes I'm catching up to the chat here, but it's from a comment earlier, so I'm like, remind me. What happened? Old retro game back day and still have them. What happened? Old retro game back day and still have them. Exucky Jucky, I'm not sure what you're asking, but if you're asking me like, do I have any retro games from back in the day? Yes, I do still have them. Do you think the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC is a tad bit overpriced, considering Balloon World was free in Odyssey? I have yet to play all of this DLC, so I don't know how many hours worth of content it will provide. But since it is a whole new island, a whole new zone, it's a little bit more than just balloon mode, because even though they do share something similar as Luigi with a balloon mode and stuff like that in Odyssey, this is a new island. I for a long time was I was on the fence of, dude, I hope that Super Mario Odyssey gives us 3 more new kingdoms for $20. Please, please. Now, if they gave us 1 for 20, but it was a big kingdom, depending on how big it was, it could have been reasonably priced or overpriced. So far, I'm content with my $20 because the island itself is beautiful. You know, J Biggs, I think the motorcycle part looked good. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. And who knows what else we're gonna get? Will she have other vehicles? Will she get to control the gunship? Is there going to be some kind of wild boss that we're like in a linear forward, constantly on rails kind of path that we're shooting it up and dodging this and that way and like riding on the ceilings and like what else are they going to do? I think Metro Prime 4 is going to take us into many different areas. Thank you, Pokemon Fan 34. I'm doing well. How are you doing? We're close to 6,000, kind of. When we hit that, we're doing a $20 eShop gift card. Member goal, we're close to 256. When we hit that, we are doing a $10 bonus gift card. And as always, anytime these streams hit Nintendo $64 in total, we give out $10. Virtual Boy. Oh, surprised that the replica doesn't include the controller. I guess it would have been cool if it was like a wireless controller, you know, comparable to how Nintendo made a wireless controller for the NES, SNES, Genesis, N64, and GameCube NSO applications to have a Virtual Boy one. But I guess technically, like, the Joy-Cons already satisfy most of it. You've got the 4 up, down, left, right, the 4 ABXY. I think the desert would have benefited from more hills and stuff. I think the flatness makes it look worse. I think there will be hills and stuff. Like, I think there will be some kind of crazy big building pyramid kind of thing, some chasms. I mean, but I don't know. DK Bonanza DLC, not bad, but we'll add more DLC. If got idea, add more feature, new layout, and skin. That'd be cool. I saw nothing wrong with the desert part. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong, but I can't figure it out. Looks good to me. I think some people just see the difference in what was absent in the desert by what was present in the footage that, you know, succeeded it, being like lightning and storm and big mechanical spiky looking objects, whereas the desert was plain in comparison. But if you look at Breath of the Wild, some areas were big, open, grassy areas, and some were big, grassy, open areas with a lot of trees and rocks and hills that went up and down and the like. I heard DK Isle doesn't have any Bananium gems. Is it true? I haven't played enough yet, but I don't think that's the case. Do you still have old Mario Watch? Do I still have old Mario Watch? I'm trying to think if I have a Mario Watch. Like, oh, Mario Watch? I don't know. Oof, big one. Do you think there is any kind of multiplayer mode in Prime 4? That's a big topic that I've been debating for a long time. Why did this game take so long to make? Was it because they had so much to put in that it was just this masterful game rich with content? A big game in terms of variety, like, oh, we're going to have her on a motorcycle, we're going to have some kind of flying segment, we're going to have this, that, or could the game also be running in third person, or an online robust multiplayer mode akin to Fortnite or Splatoon, constantly changing seasons? I'm not sure. I guess the safer me is going to say no, there won't be an online multiplayer mode, but part of me has speculated for years that it could. Whereas my girl Peach and Mario, my boy, yesterday was Mario's 5th birthday. Mario's a 5-year-old kitty now. He's like 35 in human years, I think. They're out there. Am I still playing Silk Song? Kong Dong says, I haven't. I haven't since I started. See to that, if the bike park is for traversing from one biome to the next and or purely gameplay focused parts, why does the open area need to be stunning? Maybe there will be stunning parts. Who knows? He might mean Game & Watch. Maybe. Welshland. In Retro Studios, we trust, but that doesn't look like PS1 graphics, lol. Take a look at Tomb Raider on PlayStation 1, and then you'll realize that it's not PlayStation graphics. Prime 4 Online would be great, but I suck at competitive first-person games. Happy birthday, Kitty Man. Welshland, you'll be picking up Metro Prime 4. You were hyped for Resident Evil 9, though, yeah. Yesterday, also 15th anniversary of Halo Reach. Tabitha Pitts. Hi, all. I'm listening. Grading papers, too. Very cool. Kong Donk. How did you know Metro Prime 4 would drop December 4th? I study a lot of gaming. I know a lot of how Nintendo works. But even then, I can't predict all of it. But I really looked at the timing and the pacing of what's out there that we know of, what's coming out there soon. And I developed a time schedule that I think it could happen. And I was right this time. You know, I could have been wrong, but it was an educated approximation that was spot on. It's pretty good. He's being too harsh. PS2 graphics, December 4th, shown in the direct. Game Center X, he means like, I've been calling Metro Prime 4 as a December 4th launch for a while. How did I know? No insider info on this one, just educated guess. Happy birthday, Mario. Thank you, Pokemon Fan 34. Age of Imprisonment, Zelda, or Prime 4 Nintendo Direct? I think we'll get a Direct for both. I mean, if Kirby Air Riders could get 2, I think Metroid could get 1, and Age of Imprisonment could get 1. Okay. Since I'm all caught up to the chat, I think. Now I think it's time to rewind a little bit and give Joycey J some advice, or at least some opinions. Probably safe to say, Pokemon Fan 34, you missed me. What did I miss? Happy birthday to Mario. I saw that. Oh, well, besides pre-ordering Legend ZA before the Direct, I'm getting Kirby Air Riders, Mario Tennis, Yoshi Story, Tomodachi Life 2, and Pokemon Animal Crossing. No, the Pokepedia. Oh, that's cool. Pokemon Fan 34. That's a lot of gaming. There is no shortage of gaming. I know I will get Kingdom Heart Direct next year and what to expect. Have I completed all of the Prime games? Yes, I have. And Joycey, now we're caught up with Yay advice. Okay, cool. Whew. That's a lot. Alrighty. So, I guess I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to anything. You play whatever Metroid game you want. The fact that you're playing Metroid in any capacity is great to hear, because that's one more Nintendo fan who's been around a long time and enjoys Nintendo and gaming in general, exposing herself to another really good quality franchise that's one of the oldies in gaming, that's still modern, that's still relevant. That's impressive. So however you're playing it is good. Starting with Super Metroid, you're starting with one of the best games of all time. So no complaints there. Part of me would recommend that. But since I know you're an old school gamer too, that was around and played different games from the Metroid era, like Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, 3, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, Link's Awakening, those games from that era, if I'm not mistaken, I would kind of recommend do this, especially since you have NSO, right, Joycey? And anybody who is like new to Metroid. If you've been around for that era, you'll appreciate doing it this way. And if not, you still might like it. Open up Nintendo Switch Online and play like 15 minutes of Metroid on NES. Create a save file. Then open up the Game Boy Advance app and play like 15 minutes of Metroid Zero Mission. Because Metroid, you're looking at 1987 for US, and Metroid Zero Mission, you're looking at like 2002. So you've got a 15-year difference between a home console first Metroid experience and its remake on Game Boy Advance, a portable console. But you could see like that one-to-one level of, oh, you start here, and oh, you go left, and like, oh, here, oh, and the music, and then you go right, and you go here, and oh, this is how much more that this one added, and stuff like that. So then I would go back and play like 15 minutes of Metroid and unlock this little secret. Oh, cool. And shoot this little enemy and see little bits of 8-bit pixels going and then pause it, save file, hop back into Metroid Zero Mission and play another 15 minutes. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, so this is the vision that they had in mind. This is how much more technology advanced. I could see the charm of the original game, but made bigger, and how much better this is. And then maybe one last time, go back to Metroid NES, play it half hour or something like that. Maybe get lost, maybe get frustrated, maybe start to find the controls a little bit hard, especially after you were getting spoiled by Zero Mission. And just the fact of modern games being, better in terms of controls and frame rate and stuff. But play it half hour, save file, continue on with Zero Mission, and then just finish Zero Mission off. If you liked this back and forth, feel free to do it the whole game. But I kind of wouldn't recommend it maybe, because after a while, it might be, I kind of would rather just see what happens next and not be spoiled by what happens next in Zero Mission, because I already know what happened in Metroid, and I kind of want to see for the first time, even if it's so different. Like, I want to see Ridley for the first time and not have known this door would have opened to fighting him or something, So that's a possibility of going back and forth the whole game, but not necessarily something I would totally recommend. But for someone who is old enough to have been around in that era, who did experience the equivalent of Metroid, or of Mario and Zelda and other titles of those 80s, you could appreciate the graphics and the level in which it blew up. And then even for someone who's a little bit younger who wasn't around but want to see what was up with it, 15 minutes of one, then of Zero Mission. 15 minutes of one, Zero Mission. Half hour to an hour of one, and then continue on with Zero Mission. And then you have the first Metroid game, but you were playing it on a newer system when it was more powerful, with better graphics, perhaps a better vision of what they originally thought. So I kind of would recommend, for that reason, doing Zero Mission first, because chronologically, Zero Mission is before Super Metroid, yet technology-wise, it's a little bit more advanced than a Super Nintendo, or a lot more advanced. So yeah, just for a little bit. 15-15. Whoa, that's so cool, I can't believe it. Or maybe the 15-15 is not for you. 5-5, 5-5, 20-20, and then you're like, oh, I feel like I know what that old game was like. But I really enjoy Zero Mission for being more advanced and more easy to digest. Yet, if I were back in the day yeah, I think that would have been okay for me because that's what was all available. That's all we had were that type of looking games. State of play for Wolverine, yeah, Wolverine's gonna be dope. Metroid Dread, one of the best games ever played, yeah. The only other 2D Metroid you played was Super. Oh, ooh, Small Little Man. You would like Zero Mission and Fusion also. You plan on watching Tron? Yeah. I like the first two Trons. I'm going to watch the third one. I would suggest picking up Metroid Dread. It's such a well done game and has a modern convenience while feeling classic, yes. Super Metroid is sick? Heck yeah. It'd be cool live in the virtual world. It'd be cool, Paul. Live in the virtual world. It would be cool to have gosh, what was that movie? Ready Player One? To have like a virtual world like that. Samus Returns, that game is amazing too. If you play the original NES Metroid, I suggest putting in the Justin Bailey password. There always will be a remake and surprise the fan who know. I hope they remake Metroid Fusion like they did with 2. That'd be cool. That'll throw me off too much. I'll still play knowing they're different each game, Joyce J. Yeah, like if that whole like 15 15 15 15 15 or hour and then forever more continuing is too much or throwing you off, a few minutes just to see this is what it was like, followed by 15 years later, wow, a couple of times, a couple minutes worth, just for fun. I don't know, but even if that doesn't work, then you play to your own heart's content. Sony give green light for AI using gaming software. Boomini is back. There are theories that the desert are in Prime 4 is a hub area similar to Hyrule Field, like in Ocarina of Time, maybe. Izaki Chucky, do you think Silent F Scroll would be 9.5 out 10 for review score? Silent F Scroll. I don't know what that is. Paul, should people play Metroid games in order, or does it not matter? You could start anywhere. You could realistically start anywhere. I think to get like an appreciation of the series in general, you'd go in chronological order of release, but I think there are a couple of entries that are so far back and rather difficult to play by today's standards that's kind of what I was recommending Joyce. You like play a few minutes of Metroid on the NSO app for NES, and then play a few minutes of Metroid Zero Mission, the remake. Play several minutes of Metroid NES, and then continue on with like Metroid Zero Mission. So you get that first Metroid in there, but you see what they intended back then, and then go to Metroid 2, Return of Samus. Play it for a little bit, but then maybe, okay, play some Metroid Samus Returns, which is the remake on 3DS. A little bit, and then just go ahead and enjoy that 3DS one. Then go into Super Metroid and play what many consider the greatest. Then, if you play the 3DS one before Super Metroid, you'll be going back in time in terms of graphics and control. But as you play Super Metroid, I think you might be that much more impressed with it, knowing how much other games over history, all the way into 2017, still borrowed from Super Metroid. Then go into Fusion. You will have already played Zero Mission, but now you're caught up. Then go into Dread. And now you've reached the pinnacle of 2D Metroid in terms of how new it is. Is Metroid Dread as good as Super Metroid? Dang, in some ways I think yeah. In some ways, yes, it's better. In some ways, it might be the best. At least second best, probably. It's fantastic. And then hop into Prime. If you have access to play Metroid Prime for a little bit, I would say, yeah, play Metroid Prime on GameCube if you can. or Metroid Prime on Wii or Wii U if you can, and play it for a little bit. Like, go through that first area in the space station, go into Talon 4, give it a good hour, and then hop into Prime 4 or Prime Remastered and just enjoy Prime Remastered, you know? Just so that you get the sense of 2002 and then rewind, fast forward to, you know, Prime Remastered, and then go 2, 3, 4. But no, you don't have to go in any order. If you just buy Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and play it as your first Metroid game, it's not going to matter at all. Oh, but what happened last time? Wait, who is Silex? Do I have to know what a space pirate is? Not going to matter. They're gonna be just fine at dropping you in and enjoying the experience. It's like Breath of the Wild. Do you have to have played Ocarina of Time, The Wind Waker, Majora's Mask, A Link Between Worlds? Nothing. You just play Zelda Breath of the Wild, fine. Is it cool to have evolved with the series? Yes, but by no means anything that you had to do. Joyce J breaks your immersion by switching back and forth. Corey Bohm, Prime 1 on Switch 2. Yeah, it's a great way. Yeah. That's why I'm like, even if Nintendo doesn't end up doing Metroid Prime 2 and 3, and people only had the ability to play 1 remastered and then 4, it's fine. 4 is going to be an amazing experience that it's all good. It would be cool if they had 2 and 3 to go through. I played 2 hours of Prime Remastered yesterday. Nice. First time playing a Metroid game. I'm really liking it, but noticed feeling motion sickness after a while. Is that just because of that game, or in general, that's first-person shooters for you, or first-person perspective games for you? Because it's not a first-person shooter, it's a first-person adventure game. By the way, we actually passed quite a while ago. We passed the Nintendo 64 limit of the stream, for that's the normal length of the streams. And we actually just had such a good Metroid discussion that we went to 86 minutes. Time just flew by with this one. That's great. My intent is later today to have already prepared the Metroid footage that I want to have, so we could go over the chronology of Metroid Prime 4 by Nintendo from June 2017 to now. We did a little bit of that discussion. First person perspective does that? Aha. Yeah, so I guess playing in shorts or playing in bits of time might be what you have to do. But hopefully you have fun with it, Boomini. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here. Hope you had fun. I'll see you probably this afternoon for our regular scheduled stream. But I hope you had a nice time during this little bonus talk. We kind of went into Metroid quite a bit. I'm kind of glad. That means that we've got that much more Metroid later, because we haven't finished our discussion yet. So I'll see you all later. Byzantium, you're welcome. Thank you too for being here. Take it easy. Have a good rest of the day. And we should be able to come back later for a bigger discussion and have even more fun. And we actually had quite a few people here. I think we peaked at like 42 watching live, so that was nice. How many likes do we have before we go? We had like 42 people watching and 37 likes. Hey, that's a good ratio. I like that. I hope Metro Prime 4 sells well. Would be good for Retro Studios to get the acknowledgement they deserve. I agree, Welshland. I agree. Big time. Good. Okay.